guys know, as you already know, the topic is mental well-being or mental wellness. But before we go into me talking, I wanted to do a little bit of an interactive session today, and I'm hoping you both, you all are present, inshallah, mentally and physically, um, and are ready to take what it has to bring today. So if you have your phone or your computer or your pen or paper beside you somewhere or a rough piece of paper, I would like all of you to write down the following and you will see why it's important to do. And inshallah, I'm hoping you guys will be willing to do that. 10 things that if you did them, or if you ever have done them in the past, or if you wish you could ever do, that will bring you joy, that brings you happiness, that brings you fulfillment, that you bring, yes, you really, really feel happy and fulfilled doing them as you're doing those things, or even after you've done them. And by that, I don't mean washing the dishes, of course, because this is a chore, and every woman, when she's done her chore and checklist, she feels accomplished and done, and that's good, and it's very important as well to be able to check things on your checklist. But I'm talking about things that purely are done. Many of you would be thinking, "How? What are those things? I don't know." Some of you probably already know, and you have started writing, inshallah. But just to give you a little bit of help there for those who are struggling, things that you used to do once in your life and you really enjoyed them and you have never done them for a long time, or things that you wish, if I had time, if I had this or that, I wish I could do X, Y, Z. I really, really would enjoy or will enjoy, or I know I enjoy such a thing. Or even if you do here and there, even in your present life, but you don't do them regularly, maybe you do them regularly, but whatever those are, things that bring you joy, happiness, pleasure, fulfillment, if you did them. So, Bismillah, please go ahead. I would appreciate either you write them and share, some of you at least, because then we can go from there, inshallah, more effective and efficient. And if you want to write in the chat, that would be even better because then I can see them and we can go from, I have access to them. Whoever would like to share with all of us, feel free to do so. Otherwise, you can do a private one. And if you don't want to share, that's fine as well. Excuse me. I will be coughing today, just so you know, so excuse me for that. I'm going to give it about a minute and a half, inshallah, and then we'll see if there's anyone who would like to share. If you have a question about it, about this activity, please feel free to ask. Thank you, Mavish. Thank you, Nida, for sharing. All right. So we have two people who shared in the chat box, and I'm assuming the rest of you were writing in some form. If anyone would like to share, please take the mic or raise your hand or however you communicate with the organizer to share if you would like to share. I would love to hear. And I have here giving charity, Sir Mahavish wrote, money, but not just money, but cooking something nice and giving out to someone in need. MashaAllah, stretches, yoga. Thank you very much, Nida, for sharing. She says, I haven't done it in a year now. Taking a silent, long walk alone, that's a very self, what do you call, care type of a thing. Reflecting upon the beauty of Allah through nature and finding it in tiniest details, such as the design of a snowflake. MashaAllah. Okay, brilliant. Memorizing surah, a new surah, alhamdulillah. Okay, so we have a bunch of them. Thank you, Nida. Thank you, Mamish, once again for sharing. Anyone else, if you are there and you want to share, please raise your hand and maybe read from your note. Meanwhile, I'll keep talking unless someone tells me, oh, there's someone who wants to share. So why do I ask that? We're talking about mental well-being, mental health. And as we know from physical health perspective, many times we have this misconception that if I'm not sick, that means I'm okay, and that means I'm healthy. Well, maybe you don't think that way, but that's, of course, now that you hear it this way, you understand that's not the case. The absence of sickness does not mean you're healthy in physical health, and same is the case with mental health. If, alhamdulillah, you don't have a mental health disorder, or you don't have a mood disorder, or you don't have a major emotional or mental, again, disease or disorder, that doesn't mean that we are on the best and highest potential of ourselves. Mental well-being is a state of being, basically, in where you enjoy your life, you find meaning in your life, you're able to learn from your challenges, and nothing really crushes you. Even if life hits, you're able to pick yourself up very quickly because you're, so to speak, mentally healthy, not just not mentally sick. And life is meaningful, subhanallah, we know that, but it doesn't mean that it's perfect. It doesn't mean that life doesn't have stresses and frustration. We all have them. The quality of life and how do you feel when you go to bed every night? Do you feel accomplished? Do you feel meaningful? Do you feel fulfilled? How do you measure your day's success? And when you do get stuck, do you stay stuck or you get unstuck very easily? You don't stay in the stuck state for very long if your well-being is, inshallah, in a good state. And as I said, if it hits you, you're able to pick it up very quickly. Emotionally fit people are mentally well, or in the well-being state. When something happens, they got this and I can handle it. And it could be a loss of job, it could be a death in the family, it could be some stress or change in life, it could be move, it could be a stressor that comes from children. Sometimes they bring a lot of surprises. But do they just drop you down to zero, or you're like, okay, this is not healthy, this is not happy, this is not how I want things out, but you know what, I'm in a state of being that I can actually think through, problem solve, and make things work through this problem, whatever the problem of life the life is offering at this time. And in regards to the again, very academic type of definition-ish state, would be a state of well-being in which the individual realizes her own abilities. Many a times it happens, I'm sitting in a therapy room with this person, and they're wondering, after 30, after 40, after 50, when you ask them what kind of things do you like, what brings you joy, who, and it's like, I don't know, Aisha, who I am. I have consumed myself so much on life and on life's things and people, which is not necessarily a bad thing if you're doing it in a healthy way. I have lost my own identity. I've lost who I am. I don't know what I love. I don't know what I enjoy. I don't know who I am. A person, talking about the well-being, in a state of well-being, knows her individual own abilities. They can cope with the normal stresses of life in a healthy way. They can work productively and fruitfully, and is or are able to contribute to their community. Sometimes when we think of contribution to community, I do a lot of volunteer work, I do a lot of this, I do a lot of that, I work in community. Does that mean that's a good thing? Well, it is a very good thing, but sometimes it's a mask that people wear to don't know what to do with themselves. They want to run away from the worries of home and life, and then they just go in that, which is actually good to do, but again, depending on which um, prospect you're entering in that community service with. It is a crucial element of health and well-being that supports both our individual and group capacity to decide, form connections, and influence the world we live in. Mental health being is a state of mind that is emotional well-being, good individual adjustment, which means if life, when somebody says something really sick, something really irritating, something very critical, something very triggering, a person who is in a state of being that is healthy, they will know how to regulate, first of all recognize their emotion and then regulate it accordingly, so they can adjust behaviorally easily, rather than the people who are on the edge. They thought they had no disorder, no nothing, but the moment something happened in life, they are falling apart like anything. So again, freedom from anxiety and disabling symptoms. Disabling symptoms are like, for example, I don't want to cook today, I don't want to clean today, I don't want to, and I'm using those particular examples because again, I'm talking from a very typical sense of what is going on for the working woman. They don't want to go to work. They don't want to, sometimes you drop your child at the daycare and then you're just sitting there at home all day long thinking what to do with myself because you don't know where to hold the string. And a person again in a state of being which is healthy, it has a capacity to establish constructive relationships. First of all, to keep the relationships constructive that they have, a spouse or children or work or colleague or a community, and then they also are able to establish more constructive relationships and expand um, from there in terms of relationships, and they can also cope with the ordinary demands and stresses of life again rather easily. So the question that I had before, one of you actually said that it's been a long time I did that, something that I really enjoy, and I will not be surprised when you tell me, well, I don't have time. You know why? Because this thing has gone to the bottom and the bottom and the bottom of the to-do list because there are other so many things important to do. They are, but unless or until we take care of our health, physical and mental, we cannot do all that long list most productively as much as we would want to, because when and how we will collapse, we won't even know. Why? Because we are not taking care, we are not going intentionally in a state of being that is fulfilling and ready and buckled up and rolled up sleeves and ready to roll every single day. Are you ready to roll every single day? Well, if the answer is yes, good for you. Mental health has intrinsic values. For example, it's critical for an individual's well-being and functioning. So the keyword here is functioning. We do day-to-day things, starting from the morning all the way till bedtime and all day long, every day, repeat on a repeat and autopilot. But are we functioning on the highest potential of ourselves in whichever work we're doing, either you know it's work as a work from from home professionally, or at home, or with children, or within ourselves. A good mental health is a valuable resource for individuals, families, communities, and nations, because if you bring that fully energized person, individual, a soul, a heart, and a mind, of course you're going to perform on a different level, and that energy your people around you, your colleagues, your children, your spouses, your family will feed off, inshallah. And there's going to be like a spiral of all happiness going around. But if we are dragging every single day and just hoping when it's going to end so we can go to bed, and then even those going to bed moments are not super amazing, and we are like roaming about the past and worrying about the future and sorrowing about the present, all of that energy really weighs you down, and shaitan is like clapping a happy clap all the time for that. So it's important for us even more so to be in a mentally healthy state of being, to tell him, we are not weak targets for you, buddy, so stay far away from us. Mental health, or a state of being that is actually in a good state, as an integral component of overall health, contribution to social functions, and has an impact on overall productivity. Going back to productivity, no matter what you do, housework, outwork, both work, indoor, outdoor, with family, without family, you live alone, whatever that is, your productivity will multiply by 100 if you are taking care of your well-being. And if you're not, today is the time to plan and take action. Planning is one thing, but it will go nowhere until you take action. Everyone is concerned about mental health because it's generated in our daily lives, in our homes, in schools, workplace, and leisure activities. So it's an important part of our life. Good mental health contributes to society's social, human, and economic capital. Again, your home economic capital, which again everybody feeds off each other's energy, and then there is that aura in the home that starts with the leader, which is one of you, alhamdulillah, you, the other one is your spouse, and then you are, that can impact it immensely positively. Spirituality can contribute significantly to the development, or religiosity, mental health, and mental influence. So, you know how we're talking about mental well being, why in being in a state of mentally healthy state is important, because it also, I'm sure at least once or twice you have either experienced yourself, or you know somebody very closely who would stop praying all of a sudden because they're so sad or angry or depressed or worried, or they just lost a job, they just lost a relationship, they just had a divorce, and they're now, so astaghfirullah, cursing the qisma or nasib, and what is going on there? Because if they had been in a state of very good health, mentally speaking, of course, and physically too, that adversity that just gets stuck and struck on you suddenly, they are able to be from those wabashir sabirin. Do we not know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us we're going to be tested anyway? وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ خَوْفٍ مَال and nafs and samarat. And then it comes وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ. But the tragedy is, unfortunately, the irony is that we understand sabr in a very, very negative way. Sabr, many times people associate with suffering. Oh, well, I have to suffer now, so I have to do sabr. Sabr is a very graceful virtue to have and a very high road thing to do. But we will go into that in a little bit. But the point is, coming back to well-being, this is how important it is to be in a state of, again, in your healthy or mentally well-being, or be mentally well, is to, because you don't want to compromise on your akhirah as well, because people don't want to go to the bathroom, you don't want to do wudu, they feel lazy. And the word lazy, again, not in a negative way, lazy in a way like they have no energy, they're just sad, they're just so down because of this recent conflict at work, or a very heated conversation with the spouse this morning or yesterday, or having a conflictive argument with their daughter or son, and now they're sitting there and they don't know what to do, or with their even deen gets, I don't want to read Quran today, I'm feeling very angry. And then that's the one side of things, when they start taking things out of their equation because of that state of mental health or illness, I should say, in that temporary moment at least, that their akhirah compromises. But on the other hand, if it's an anger or hate or resentment due to whatever reason, legit or not, what do? We say things, we do things, action, behaviors, and our thoughts go all negative, and words negative, foul language sometimes come out. And what's happening here? We are not able to protect our akhirah as well, and that's what's compromised very badly. And where does it start? We were not going back in the state of being where you enjoy, fulfilled, you know what you want to do with your day and with your life, but when a challenge hits, it doesn't crushes you at all. You pick up yourself quickly because you're emotionally regulated at the time of adversity. That's the point for being, mentally fit, or I should say emotionally fit. Now we talk about a few things that are very important markers of knowing, or if first of all, knowing mental well-being, how it aligns to be mentally well and or healthy. And if you're not there, you will know what it means and how to get there. So positive emotion, first of all, creating and cultivating positive feelings and experiences. So many times, doesn't that happen to us in the morning? First thing, somebody talks to us and we snap back. Maybe we didn't have a good night's sleep. Maybe we couldn't even go to sleep because of all the things that we were thinking. Maybe we had a heated argument with a spouse. Maybe we couldn't even, we were just lingering on to something that happened a day before and we couldn't process it properly because we were not in the excellent state of mind to know what to do with that negative experience or sad experience or whatever bad that happened to us. In that state, you're snapping first thing, cranky as we call them, and this what do you call this tantrum that we have? Adult tantrums are a real thing that as well. But if you're mentally fit and mentally set, and you're in a state of being that is mentally well, you're creating and cultivating positive feelings and experiences, and you can't just fake them. They come automatically and very naturally if you are in a good emotional fitness state, or you're emotionally fit, as I would say. Engagement, participating in activities that create a sensation of flow and absorption, like yoga, like stretches, like going back to my Hearts of Quran. The some of you that wrote, like, I want to cook today and give that food away, and not feel tired, lethargic, and super exhausted after that. Engagement. This is called engagement, and that is a part of mental well-being, and very aligns with a very positive definition of health, with the positive psychology approach. Relationships. If you are mentally and emotionally fit, developing meaningful positive relationships with others, and by developing I don't mean new relationships, you develop your relationship with your family every single day to the next micro level. How you respond to their criticism, how you act when they are not in a good state, when your teenager comes home and flings their shoes all over the place and slams the door, you don't go, well, welcome home, you came home, well, pick up your shoes. You go, are you okay, honey, can I help you with something? Because you are not sitting on the edge, and that relationships get positively effectively affected if you are emotionally mentally fit. Meaning, discovering one's life purpose and importance. If you're not consumed by frustration, micro frustration, and by frustration I don't mean like big fights, sometimes we don't have big fights, alhamdulillah, but then micro frustrations on daily basis. When I went to get my wudu, there was no water in the tap. When I went to get the cereal, the milk was gone. When I wanted to sit on that chair to eat, then I realized that somebody had dropped sticky stuff on it. Like micro frustrations happen, and we run out of our quota like first 30 minutes of the day, and then we're running on lowest gas possible all day long. So, meaning if you're mentally, emotionally fit, you discover one up your life's purpose and importance, and you're able to think through the day. Today, this is an ayah that I want to hifz, and I don't care if I have the busiest schedule. I'm going to do 5 minutes yoga stretches that I really, really love. And whatever is the purpose and importance in your life for that day, at least you are able to recognize it and able to fit in your schedule. That happens when you're emotionally fit. Emotionally and mentally fit people also accomplishments, achieving goals and accomplishments that contribute to a sense of competence and mastery. So you know what things are going to bring you feelings of accomplishment. It's not just, you know, I have to do this, I have to do this, I don't want to do this, but there's no other way. But then the things that we have to do, some of the things, of course, always in life, there will be some things that we have to do because we have to do them, and they're like important, even though we hate them and or we don't necessarily enjoy them. For example, washing your bathroom or putting the dishwasher on or things like that. But um, then when you are in that stage, achieving your goals and accomplishments become easier. Clarity comes, and you know what are the things that I want to do that will give me a sense of competence and mastery, and I feel good about myself. And that's why it's important to be mentally fit, emotionally fit. Social inclusion is very important in well-being. Um, Mental well-being and quality of life, as I said before, it's the quality of life. Not doesn't mean all the sorrows and the tests of life that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already told us are going to come to us anyway, regardless of that this life is a test period. But the quality of life and the quality of emotional fitness will dictate how you handle them, how you deal with them, and how you navigate your solutions through heavy problems of life. So I'm gonna I wrote this little thing here. I'm gonna read that mental well-being and quality of life. Mental well-being refers to a positive state of emotional, psychological, and social health. So it's emotional, psychological, and social health characterized by a sense of contentment, resilience, ability to effectively cope with life's challenges, as I said before, and it encompasses positive emotions, a sense of purpose, and the capacity to engage in fulfilling relationships and activities. However, is a broader concept that encompasses various domains for individuals' life, physical health, psychological well-being, social relationship, environment, the personal goals. It reflects an individual's overall satisfaction with their life. And if you feel extremely dissatisfied with the quality of your life, this is the day you put that down on the paper. What is that I need to take action today, right now, to make sure that I take care of my emotional self? So this one life that I've been given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when it ends on the other side and I face Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I can say, Ya Allah, I did the best of this life that you gave me, and I didn't just wing it through because I didn't bother much. So satisfaction with their life circumstances and their perceived ability to pursue their aspirations. That aspiration doesn't have to be that you have to be a millionaire, or aspiration doesn't have to be that you have to be XYZ. Whatever that aspiration is for you, what makes you fully fulfilled. And then when you reach that level, you're like, yes, I've gotten to best mama, best wife, best working woman, best this, best that of my version. But if you're struggling to feel the littlest satisfaction on a day-to-day basis, well, that means you're not emotionally fit and you're not mentally fit, even though, inshallah, you might not have a disorder per se. Mental well-being is a key component of overall quality of life, as positive mental health contributes significantly to an individual's perception of their life's value and fulfillment. So, I have here couple of things, the pointers that I had. Emotional resilience. The number one benefit of you being emotionally and mentally healthy is that you will be emotionally resilient, or in other words, you will be able, as I said before, but the resilience is like a next level of not just, this is a problem, I'm going to sit there and find a solution and hopefully do my best to figure that out. It's the absolute next level where nothing can actually crush you, as I said before, but you're resilient to life's tests. وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ. You become one of those. Mental wellness helps individuals cope with the stress. Resilient people can navigate challenges more effectively, reducing the risk of mental health issues. So A, you can navigate your problem. The B, you have very low chance of getting into mental health disorder or issue or problem if you're mentally fit. It also enhances your productivity, as we talked about. Good mental health leads to better focus. So if you're mentally and emotionally fit and you have actually put an effort in doing that and not putting it on the last column of your to-do list, your focus will increase, your resilience will increase, your creativity will increase, your problem-solving ability will increase, and your productivity significantly will improve. Whatever you're doing, your productivity in whatever you're doing, at work, at home, in the kitchen, in the kids' life, in community, wherever you are, your productivity will improve significantly in both personal and professional settings. You will also be able to, as we said before, build stronger relationships, interactions with friends and family and colleagues. I know I hear this every single day in my therapy room. The things that we hear from colleagues and friends and family, sometimes they pinch. But if your emotions are under your control and you're not under their control, you will be able to actually communicate those things so effectively without compromising the relationship with that person. And then there are physical benefits to mental health. There is a strong connection between mental and physical health, both ways. Good mental wellness can lower the risk of chronic disorder. A lot of chronic disorders and diseases are actually strongly connected to mental health issues. You go to a doctor and you say, I think I have thyroid, and or they find out you have thyroid. Nobody bothers to ask you, how's your life? How's your married life? How's your children? What's going on? Did you have any trauma in your childhood? The doctors, mashallah, they love giving out medications, and that's all what they know, and they have been taught only that, but they don't understand that that thyroid problem or that knee pain problem or that sleeplessness that you're being diagnosed with, God knows what, has probably sitting on is probably sitting on a trauma or has come from childhood or has come from a relationship issue that you're going through, and it is manifesting itself in the somatic or physical form. Increased life satisfaction. Actually, we did talk about that. You increase your investing in mental wellness can reduce the burden on healthcare system by preventing mental health disorders, which can be expensive to treat. Therapy is not a cheap thing. Medication for mental health is not a very easy and quick solution because they come with their own baggage. What are the losses that you might face if your mental well-being is compromised? It can save you a lot of economic cost. Disorders can lead to significant um, mental illness or mental health issues. They can reduce the cost for those if you increase the cost for that. Personal losses. Neglecting mental wellness can lead to personal loss, such as quality of life, poor quality of life, strained and resentful relationships, decreased overall life satisfaction. That's kind of sad thing. One life we get and we can't get to the best of it. Subhanallah, it's an amana of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then the social impact or the loss that you might get if you're not your mental well-being is compromised. And that is far-reaching consequences of communities. You're not fully able to serve to your community. Increased risk of mental illness is very high. Of course, without proper attention to mental wellness, individuals may face a higher risk of developing mental illness, and nobody wants that for sure, leading to a cycle of ongoing treatment and challenges. So what's the conclusion? Taking care of mental wellness is not just beneficial for individual, it also has a ripple effect on your family, workplace, and communities. By investing in mental health, we can enhance overall well-being, reduce the cost, of course. Nobody has money to pay for every single week for therapy, and create, or maybe if you have money, maybe you can use that on some amazing stuff to do more fulfillment of your life if you don't have to go there. And if you have to go there, that would be a very unfortunate thing that you don't take help, because professional help is much needed. If you have none of that we talked about, the satisfaction of life, and then relationship strain and resentment and lack of resilience in the time of adversity, and that's a red flag, and that's a ring that you should hear to get help. By investing in mental health, we can enhance overall well-being. Then we can reduce the cost that come with the mental illness and create more productive and harmonious society and personal life, inshallah. Now, one might wonder, well, what do we do? We did talk about a couple of things just in the beginning. Some people gave their ideas, what is that bring them joy, because unless or until you do what you really, really love and enjoy on a regular basis, by regular basis, I mean daily, you will not reach there. It will just, when you're thirsty, so thirsty, so thirsty, and you have a big glass of cold water, and then you just take one tiniest sip, and then somebody takes that cup away from you or glass away from you. That's what happens if we do those things that we purely enjoy, to see in the deep depth of ourselves and our beings to figure out what is that we really do enjoy. And it's not in a selfish way, because unless you do that, you will not be able to give the best version of yourself to others. It will compromise your relationships and society and community and children and so on, and work and colleagues and all of that. So it's good for everybody, not just for you. If you take care of yourself, if you take care of your emotional fitness, if you take care of emotional well-being, very important. Few things I'm gonna give you to 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 take with you today. And that, as I said before, write down 10 things that you really, really, really enjoy, and then start doing them. Start doing them. And sometimes, like, I do a lot of couple counseling and marriage counseling, and many times a wife would say, or a husband would say, well, she or he, this is the problem that they have, and this is why our marriage is falling apart. The moment you start talking to them, like, what is that you actually like and enjoy? What is something that brings you joy? I'm like, I have not done that in years. I'm barely, dragging life. And once you start working on them, the other, you become actually attractive, by the way, because you are so much more of yourself, that you're not clinging and depending on other people. Not that it's a bad thing. Of course, we have interrelationships as a real thing, and it's very important, but not in an unhealthy way. And it becomes, then you become a source of energy instead of not having any energy or passing any energy. So first thing, start writing your things that you really, really enjoy. The second thing, start doing them. For the love of God, please, on daily basis. Minimum 3, but if you can't do it, then start with 1. Number 2 things is exercise, 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 you ladies. Exercise, walk. If you cannot do anything at all, then walk. You can walk. Inshallah, I hope you can walk. Walk. Just walk. Start with 10 minutes every single day. Exercise. I wish I had enough time to give you the fanciest researches, how their antidepressant pill, how they bring physical and mental benefit to a person's life, and how much impact it can bring on your life. So start with that. Otherwise, do biking. If walk as if you're running late. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to walk as if he's coming down the hill. Imagine somebody coming down the hill. They're like holding on to their toe. They're a bit fast because there's gravity. This is how I used to walk. Very, very beautiful way to walk. And when you do go out for a walk, that's how you want to walk, as if you're running late or you're coming down the hill. Observe, as somebody said that, Mavish said that, like silent walk alone to reflect upon Allah's beauty. This is therapy 101. If you don't do this, Mavish, on daily basis, I highly suggest that you do. It will save you a lot of therapy, inshallah, for if you ever need it. Because again, there is no time to go in the science of it, but it is so effective how it affects the retina. When we look through, of course, our eyes, but we're seeing the beauty in nature. Then when we are trying to be present in present, and not walking in the woods and thinking about, oh my goodness, what will happen in 3 years later when I have, whatever, and you don't even know what, but we just pass by the most beautiful leaves tree or yellow leaves or whatever. um, and then I remember actually a dialogue from this book, Helen Keller. If you guys know her, she was born blind and deaf, very, very inspiring person. One day, her normal, so to speak, friend went for a walk in woods, and she asked her, "What did you see out there?" Just the friend who had working eyes and working ears and working body, no, she said nothing. And Helen smiled and laughed. If I remember the dialogue correctly, I might be making a mistake, but the point is correct. I think she said something around the lines that, "I thought you had eyes and ears." Because Helen, being blind and being deaf, could see the nature by the touch, the sense of touch, and loved it a lot. So, anyways, observe the present. Be now, be present. Khushu, we talk about khushu in salah. Khushu in salah, that is mindfulness on a next level. And that is what you need to do. Observe when you're standing in your salah, inshallah. I hope you all pray 5 times a day. When you're standing, look at your qiyam. How is it? Is it a perfect one? If my angels are giving me grades on that, where do I fall on that rubric? Observe your words, observe your tajweed, observe your delivery, and that's how you will get to khushu, because you will be present in the salah, not saying something on autopilot and thinking about what to cook when you finish the salah, and which child is crying and who is fighting, and I'm gonna go tell which punishment to which one because that's what I'm thinking right now, etc., etc. So observe whichever wherever you are, be where you are. If you are in the kitchen cooking something you love to cook, as one of you said, observe the colors, the textures, use all the five senses to observe your present. And that's how you will be very good at khushu in salah, when you use your five senses in salah. What do I hear? What am I saying? What do I see? Where I am? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching me and I'm watching him. Inshallah, one day we will be able to do that. If you made it to Jannah, inshallah, inshallah. What are you, again, the taste wise, like how my tongue is twisting to pronounce all the good correct tajweed. This is a very fine technique to be present in present, and that you can implement in your religious activities and in your day-to-day activities. Biking is a very good idea too if you are good at that. Finding your old passion when you were not married, or if you are here and you're still not married, like you're young or somebody who hasn't married yet, like what are the things that you really enjoy or enjoyed as a child, like crafting or journaling or things like that, reading. Find that old habit and bring it out, bring it to life, and giving, either cooked food, as you said, or money or time. Do something for somebody purely for the sake of Allah, and absolutely, everybody's volunteering, I should volunteer. That's a nice thing to do, not for that purpose. You're not going to make the best of it, but doing it because you purely, sincerely want to do it. And that will actually bring you reward and barakah and fulfillment all together. And there is like so many more things that I can go on, but I think for now we will stop here because my time is up. And inshallah, if you have any questions or whatever, we'll discuss those. And the end, emotional fitness, mental fitness is very, very important to get to the best of your life that you have, that Allah gave you as an amana and as a blessing, and you deserve to do that. Don't be shy and don't feel bad about it, and go get the best version of yourself out so you can perform on the best version of your performance, inshallah, and face Allah with full pride, I would say. And that's where I would stop. Good luck.
Jazakallah khairan, Sister Aisha, for these valuable insights and reminder to prioritize our mental health. I would like to ask if anyone has any questions or just want to know how we can contact Sister Aisha. We can you can type it or just ask by unmuting yourself. Sister Aisha, is it okay if you could verbally tell your like your contact details? If anyone wants to contact you, I can
Absolutely.
put it in
Yeah.
the chat.
So my name is here on it. It will be Aisha, Ayesha dot Haroon, Haroon dot Dar, D as in dolphin, DAR at gmail.com. So Aisha.Haroon.dar at gmail.com is my email. Me and my staff very regularly check that, very vigilant on that, alhamdulillah. If you want to go on my website, it's aishaharoon.com. Aisha Haroon is one word, aishaharoon.com. Ayesha is how I spell Aisha. My phone number is there, my email is there, contact information is there. My phone number is 613-413-7369. You can reach to me through WhatsApp, text message. or by call. If I am able to answer, I will. Otherwise, leave me a voice note um, or voice message. It's again, the phone number is 613-413-7369. It's Ottawa number for those of you who are not from here. So yeah, this is how you can contact me. You can get free resource on the website. We have some ebooks coming up on depression, inshallah, for free, and some other things too. And there are some other things already there on the website. The website is aishaharun.com. One word, Aisha Harun is one word.
Jazakallah khair, Sister Aisha.
Yeah, jazak.
If anyone has any questions, please type them in the chat or just unmute yourself and you can ask. If nobody has any questions, we can conclude with the duas and end the session for today. Okay, so I guess this brings our mental health session uh, for to an end, and let's conclude with our duas. إني أسألك علما نافعا ورزقا طيبا وعملا متقبلا سبحانك سبحان لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. May Allah guide us to become better Muslims and help us improve our physical and mental self. May Allah help us abide to the Quran and Sunnah. May Allah accept our efforts and grant barakah in our lives. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.